Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Strom from Oasis Senior Advisors, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Jim McClear of Alzheimer's Orange County. Jim, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. So, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your background and Alzheimer's Orange County.
Sure, I'd love to. So as you said, I'm Jim McAleer. I'm the president and CEO here at Alzheimer's Orange County. I've had the privilege of holding that job for 14 years, which actually kind of scares me sometimes. It makes me feel super old, but it has been a privilege for those 14 years. Now, Alzheimer's Orange County has been around since 1982. So in case I really want to feel old, I graduated from high school 2 years later. During that time, it's grown from a small cottage shop in someone's garage, quite literally, to where we are now. We're over $9 million. We have 2 adult daycares, 45 support groups, and a host of other programs and services for people with different kinds of memory loss. After 30 years in nonprofits, I couldn't imagine a better office at the end of the hall to hold and a better privilege of a job to do.
Well, thank you, Jim. So now could you tell us what is the most important thing that Alzheimer's Orange County does?
Oh, great question. So you might think, because of the name, that we deal primarily with people with Alzheimer's. And while that's a huge and important part of what we do, I would say one of the most leveraged things we do is support caregivers. So last year alone, we trained 25,000 paid and unpaid caregivers in how to take care of themselves. You know, if you're on an airplane and it starts to go down, you're supposed to put the oxygen mask on you first and then the person you love. The same is true for caregiving. So I would say the most important and one of the most leveraged things we do is to help the caregiver take care of themselves and take care of the person they love.
Well, thank you, Jim. So I understand that caregivers are one of the most important audiences you serve.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us what other audiences you serve?
Oh, sure. So clearly, as you mentioned, we care for the caregiver, but we have to care for the person who is experiencing this disease. Everything from people who are worried well, meaning they're wondering maybe they have this disease. We have memory screens, we have support programs. For people who are newly diagnosed or in the early stages of this disease, we have all kinds of programs, everything from social programming to keep them socially engaged, to information, research, and other education about keeping themselves as healthy as long as possible. We also have some preventative information. You know, science doesn't tell us how to prevent it, but it does give us some clues about things that might help slow its progression or delay its onset. So certainly we serve the caregiver, but we serve people with all forms of memory loss or dementia, those who are worried about it, and the professionals who serve them.
Well, thank you, Jim. So I understand, or we understand, that you serve caregivers and you serve clients that have types of dementia, but could you talk about the other types of services that you provide?
Certainly. So we have all kinds of programs and services. The most important one, I think, is the fact that we listen. We have licensed social workers, we have other trained clinicians who understand what this journey is about. So when someone comes in, newly diagnosed, later in the process, and needs help, those folks have an empathetic ear, but they also have real concrete tools. We have information referral on tens of thousands of resources. Everything from compassionate communication to when to look at taking the keys to bathing, all of those kinds of things that are tactile tools that we need in our lives, financial planning, etc. In addition to those kinds of information, referral, and frankly, empathetic skills, we have our adult daycares. So we have 2, North County and South, Garden Grove and Laguna Woods, where people actually go during the day for occupational therapy, physical therapy, a nutritionist provided meal, an RN provides their meds. The nutritionist meal, they're actually reporting back to the doctor how much they ate or didn't. So it can keep people at home a lot longer than someone who's trying to care for their loved one as best they can by themselves, and yet doesn't necessarily have the skills or even the strength, depending on their age. Insurance covers most of our adult day healthcare services. The rest of our services are 100% free and supported by fundraising, so people don't have to worry about some kind of hidden cost. We have memory screens for folks who are worried. We have 45 support groups in 7 different languages. Some are faith-based, some are not. Anything that a person can think of that they might need, if we don't provide it, we'll try and find it for them. We understand this is a complex and very individual process. Every person who experiences this may need something different than the others who experience this. Our job isn't to tell people what to do, it's to show them where resources are and to help them connect to those resources.
Well, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate all that great information. So if people would like to find out more information and contact you, what's the best way to do that?
Oh, thank you for asking. We're at 844-HELP-ALZ or 844-HELP-ALZ. And you can call us anytime during business hours, starting roughly at about 7 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. You can also reach us on our website, www.alzoc.org. Again, alzoc.org.
Wow, thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.